50 Cent's name always seems to spark some kind of fear or anger amongst artists because he has a habit of calling out rappers when they do things he doesn't like. He is either calling artists out for claiming to live a life they don't understand or pretending to be who they are not. But most importantly, he is always standing his ground and not allowing anyone to bully him. However, with how 50 Cent calls out people for anything and everything, it's time to ask if he has anything he is hiding and trying to cover up by putting the spotlight on other artists. Is he spotless? Or is everything a big cover-up? Let's get into it. 50 Cent has never been afraid to call people out on their strange behavior, and it could stem from the days where he grew up in the streets of New York. 50 Cent grew up with a mother who lost her life to drug addiction. While most children would see their parents' lives and want to go against the tide because they want better for themselves, 50 followed the same path as his mother. The only difference is that instead of doing drugs, he was pushing it at the age of 12. At that age, kids are thinking of school and what they want to do in the future. But for 50, he was thinking of how to make bank and take care of himself and his grandma. He was arrested after selling cocaine to an undercover cop, and when he got released, he decided to become a rapper. A friend introduced him to Jam Master Jay, who helped teach 50 Cent how to rap properly and make good music. But by 1999, 50 Cent left Jam Master Jay and joined Columbia Records. 50 Cent started gaining relevance in the industry when he released How to Rob in 1999, where he comically described how he was going to rob the top shots in the industry. With that track, rappers like Jay-Z and Nas started vibing to his song, and his career pretty much kicked off from there. But it only lasted for a year because in 2000, 50 Cent was shot 9 times outside his grandma's house. It was a miracle that he survived. However, Columbia Records dropped him because of the shooting, and that seemed like the end of his career. But he came back stronger. Word on the street was it was a drug lord that ordered the attack on 50 Cent. What exactly could he have done that would anger a drug lord to that point? Whatever it was, it increased his street credibility and made him seem like somebody to never cross. And with the kind of things he does to rappers when they mess up these days, you should actually never cross 50 Cent. One of the people he has called out is Jay-Z, despite the attention he got from the mogul when he released How to Rob. In the song, he rapped about how he was going to rob Jay-Z with the lyrics, "What, Jigga just sold like 4 milli? He got something to live for. Don't want a putting 4 through that Bentley coupe door." Jay-Z then responded in his song It's Hot with the lyrics, "Go against Jigga, your ass is dense. I'm about $1. What the is 50 cents? The rebuttal was received well by 50 Cent, who was still an up-and-comer at the time. He said he felt honored that Jay-Z responded to him, which meant that Jay-Z rated him. By 2003, 50 Cent released Get Rich or Die Trying, and that catapulted him into global stardom. It made him be around the same level of fame as Jay-Z, and unintentionally, they started beefing with each other. The low-key beef didn't stop them from working together. They both got sneaker deals with Reebok and Freestyle together for the commercial. 50 Cent's sneaker collaboration with Reebok did well, and he sold more than Jay-Z, making him the #1 black rapper with the most money on Forbes, reducing Jay-Z to #2. Although their beef never escalated to the point of them going physical or continuously dissing each other, there was tension between them, and Beyonce once tried to jump him because of that. Yes, Queen Bee stepped out of character when she saw Jay-Z and 50 Cent having a conversation. She was under the assumption that 50 Cent was going to do something to her husband, and she jumped out a windowsill to mean mug 50 Cent and tell him to stay away from her husband. After that incident, 50 Cent became convinced that Jay-Z was controlling Beyonce. How can the ever-composed Beyonce step out of character to the point where she was willing to throw hands with a grown man? 50 Cent started alleging that Jay-Z was controlling Beyonce by always keeping her high. Where he got his information from is something we don't know, but he seemed so convinced by his words that it's hard to not believe. Jaguar Wright also made the same claims by saying in exchange for keeping themselves at the top, Jay-Z was loading Beyonce's body with drugs, and that was the only reason she's able to perform at the top of her game. Jay-Z started sneaking around with Beyonce when she was barely a minor, and he's friends with Diddy, who was exposed for bringing minors to his parties and drugging them. Why would Jay-Z not be expected to that capacity? But 50 Cent didn't call him out only for controlling Beyonce, but for also sabotaging Nas. 50 Cent alleged that Jay-Z always ensured to release new music whenever Nas also planned to release new music. With how big Jay is in the industry, releasing an album at the same time as him is a big mistake. So it would always seem like Nas was the one trying to compete with Jay-Z for a release date, when according to 50 Cent, it was quite the contrary. In an interview, 50 Cent outrightly let Jay know that he knew the mogul was sabotaging Nas, and it was unfair. Despite how bold the accusation was, Jay-Z didn't respond. It was either he was actually guilty or didn't feel like 50 Cent was worth his time. It appears that 50 seems to have a lot of fun calling out Jay-Z, as he did so again when he talked about not performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. 50 Cent claimed that Jay-Z was making calls to people handling the show and blocking his chances of performing. Well, it may not be so far from the truth, and listen to why we think so. Many of the artists that perform at the Super Bowl are related to Rockefeller Records in some way. How exactly did Jay get that much power? And if his artists are almost always performing at the Super Bowl, what makes anybody feel like he won't push back against anybody that's not from his side performing? It is likely a theory, but don't knock it till you think of it. Anyway, back to 50 Cent. Jay-Z isn't the only artist he has called out. In 2002, he released the single Wanksta, which made fun of people that claimed to live a life that they had never even experienced. Ja Rule felt insulted by the track, even if 50 Cent didn't directly call him out or even refer to him. But when Ja Rule responded with a diss track, 50 Cent responded by saying if the shoe fits Ja Rule, then he can wear it. The beef led to 50 Cent having issues with the Game, who refused to join him in dissing Ja Rule. Game didn't want to be in the middle of any drama, and 50 Cent didn't want any homie that he couldn't trust to have his back when things went south. So he started talking smack about the Game on radio shows. 50 Cent was wrong for calling the Game fake. Was the Game acting like he was not loyal by remaining friends with Ja Rule? Yes, because if you're friends with my enemy, why should I trust that you won't attack me one day? But was 50 Cent overreacting by calling the Game out on every radio station he went to? Yes. The Game is allowed to think for himself and decide what battles he wants to be involved with, and 50 Cent's battle is not his to fight. 50 Cent and the Game never got to sort out their issues, but they have not been dissing each other recently. One may think that 50 Cent was only beefing with rappers because he was young, but even now that he's matured in age, he still seems to actively be on the hate train. His most recent victim was P. Diddy. P. Diddy has been in the spotlight for quite some time, and we can trace it to three major focal points. The first one is Keefe D getting arrested for Tupac's death. After Tupac died in 1996, Keefe went on a road talking about how he was behind the shooting. But for some reason, he was never arrested or investigated, making everything seem so suspicious. One thing that remained constant in his story was the fact that P. Diddy had refused to pay him for killing Tupac, and he definitely wasn't letting that slide. Diddy never stepped forward to deny the allegations, which was a smart move, considering whatever he says can be used against him.
That are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother.
Keefe D eventually got arrested in 2023, and that was a step forward in giving Tupac's family closure in his death. With Keefe D behind bars, it was only a matter of time before people started asking if P. Diddy was also going to get arrested, since he was accused of being the mastermind behind it all. Nothing has been said about arresting P. Diddy, but if the allegations are true, he's definitely going to be on his way to jail soon. The second reason Diddy has the spotlight on him is because of the lawsuit that Cassie filed against him. Cassie was a former Bad Boy Records signee and also dated Diddy for a while. She revealed that Diddy introduced her to forced her to have sex with workers while he watched and recorded it, physically assaulted her, and also used her. The lawsuit revealed some of Diddy's wrongdoings, like how he bombed a man's car because he found out that the man talked to Cassie, and so many other acts of vandalism. The case was settled outside court, and his lawyers claimed it didn't mean he was guilty. If we didn't have stories about Diddy, it would be easy to believe, but not in this case. The third reason is also a lawsuit from Lil Rod filed against Diddy. He alleged that Diddy groped him, tried to pimp him out to other music execs, and violated his trust by not paying him after working on his project. He also revealed that Diddy was a murderer and had big names in high places that could cover up his problems. When all this information started coming out about P. Diddy, 50 Cent started scrolling the music mogul on social media. He posted a tweet that said, "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case." 50 Cent didn't stop there. He went ahead to post a picture of Diddy's face morphed into Jeffrey Epstein's. In case you didn't know, Jeffrey Epstein was found to have a private island where he gave rich people access to violate underage girls. He committed suicide before he could be tried. Morphing Diddy's face on his body was the most insulting way to call Diddy a pedophile. Producer Stevie J called out 50 Cent for taking several jabs at Diddy. He claimed that 50 was doing all that because he was unhappy about how his ex, Daphne Joy, started dating Diddy after they broke up. Stevie J made it seem like 50 Cent was just being petty, and considering that Stevie J's name came up in Lil Rod's lawsuit against Diddy, it's not surprising that he would want to defend the bad boy CEO. Stevie J then tried to shut down 50 Cent by claiming that the rapper was having with Lil Rod. But according to Lil Rod's lawsuit, Diddy showed him a video of Stevie J getting down with another man. So the homophobic comments were just turning against Stevie J in this case. 50 Cent continued to poke fun at Diddy by reposting an unsubstantiated news clip of Diddy having sex with Carl Winslow. He said he needed a drink because he could not understand what was going on. With how 50 Cent has been making fun of Diddy, you would wonder if he was completely innocent. No matter how extensive your research is, you will never find anyone accusing 50 Cent of being a pedophile and grooming a minor. In fact, when the entire music industry was ignoring the claims about R. Kelly, he was the only one calling out the R&B singer for being a pedophile. With everything 50 Cent passed through his childhood, it would be disappointing to watch him his children as an adult. Diddy has not been his only victim, though, as he also called out Rick Ross for being fake. In an interview, 50 Cent said Rick Ross was faking his lifestyle and claiming to be what he's not. Maybe if Rick Ross was a rapper when 50 Cent released Wanksta, Rick Ross could have been the angry one and not Ja Rule. 50 Cent revealed that Rick Ross was a former correctional officer, so him being in the rap game felt like he was working as an undercover cop in the industry and rapping about a life he was once punishing people for. Rick Ross was always claiming to be a gangster who got rich off of selling drugs, but it felt too suspicious considering he was once a police officer. How did he suddenly become popular out of nowhere and become as rich as he is right now? 50 Cent started calling Rick Ross out and trying to warn other rappers about him, but nobody listened. 50's beef with Rick Ross has been largely because of Rick Ross's past as a correctional officer, and considering he went to jail because of an undercover cop when he was a child can still be a major trigger for him. 50 didn't troll Rick Ross online as much as he did to Diddy, though. But in spite of all the allegations he has made against so many rappers, nobody has attacked him or tried to sue him for defamation. It's almost as if everybody is avoiding getting into trouble with 50 Cent, and it's not hard to see why. Remember when we talked earlier about how 50 Cent was shot 9 times and still survived? We mentioned that the attack was ordered by a drug lord who was never tried for the case. Would you want to cross somebody who got on the bad side of a drug lord and still showed his face in public? Some years after getting shot, he got stabbed in a studio and still made it out of that alive. When everyone in the industry was afraid of Suge Knight, 50 Cent stood his ground against the music boss. While he was shooting the music video for In the Club, Suge pulled up to the venue with so many gang members and stood nose to nose with 50 Cent before puffing smoke in his face and leaving. If 50 Cent had not stood his ground that day, he would have become one of Suge's puppets, and that's not a good way to live. 50 Cent's childhood seems to play a significant role in his life as an adult. Growing up on the streets taught him to be resilient and not take insults from anybody, which has kept him pushing in the industry even when things got hard. On the issue of him calling out people in the industry, he's actually doing a great job. In the industry, everybody is trying to be on the good side of the top shots in the industry, so they tend to not address problems. For example, despite being close friends with P. Diddy at some point, Jay-Z has never talked publicly about the allegations against him. His silence shows that he may not care or just doesn't want to be roped into the conversation. But what kind of person will you be if you see wrongdoings and don't call it out? 50 Cent is also always on the victim's side when it comes to issues of abuse, which is indicative of empathy. His support may be motivated by the hate or beef he has with the perpetrators, but it's support nonetheless. Lending his voice to victims in his sarcastic way has helped some music fans look critically at issues happening within the rap community. For the most part, 50 Cent has not been accused of doing anything towards minors and treating people like they don't matter. The most 50 Cent has been caught doing was disowning his 16-year-old son after getting into a heated exchange with the boy. It is believed that 50 Cent got angry because his son didn't open the door for him when he went for custody visitation. 50 Cent then asked his son to bring a DNA test to prove that he was truly his father. A grown man beefing with a 16-year-old is embarrassing. He could be playing the self-righteous game to hide the fact that he's an abusive father. But what do we know?